So they keep having their core updates and back in the days, they used to not tell us anything as to like when they were happening. Now Google's doing a much better job of keeping people abreast of what's coming down the pike. I think a huge piece has just been the security for websites, where they're now looking at things related to how much advertising you have on your websites, how much real estate you have. So that's going to be a one component. If you have sites that are just created for the sake of like, from an affiliate standpoint, they're looking at that and they're saying, how much can we trust these websites? Because if it doesn't have anything as basic as, let's say, an address or a phone number or a way to contact someone, they're going to be looking at that from the standpoint of, this is just another website that's collecting information to try to sell somebody something. So if you have anything on your website that has to do with, a person's health, their wealth, their livelihood, something that could change their lives pretty drastically. You give someone the wrong information about getting a loan, you could financially hurt them. Or same things with health. You have to be able to build up a lot more trust in those aspects. And I've seen sites that were very thin from a content standpoint that didn't have a lot of trust. And, you could tell when you hit it, you're not going to get much support from that particular site. Because, like some of the software companies amaze me. I mean, you go to them and you try to contact them. I'm like, I can't even call them. Then that their response time, they say, is 24 hours, which in my opinion is a joke. I mean, unless, the site is in another country, it's like, like in Singapore or the UK or wherever. I mean, consumers, they know, okay, there's huge blocks of time difference between one country to the next. That makes sense. But if it's a company that's literally in your own country, you should be able to get responded to, in my opinion, in like a 12-hour time frame. So Google they definitely look at those kinds of things to see, like how are people going to have staying power as a business? Because like when you look at any major brand, they've done certain things over time with the messaging, the trust. People don't have to say, hey, like something as simple as like Nike or any other brand like that. They just know, hey, this brand typically stands for these particular qualities and characteristics, and they don't have to go out of their way to tell people, hey, to just do it and be yourself and use their product. It's going to be a higher quality and has a higher cost because it's their longer lasting shoes, or they're used by different athletes. People just know this. So if you can take the same kind of stance with your brand, like you mentioned with content, if you create really, really good content that's just really engaging, and you're always thinking about your customers and how to solve their problems, how to point them in a specific direction. If you always do that, you're gonna hit on the mark because you're not writing for Google. Because consumers are pretty smart. If somebody came to your store and you're trying to sell to them, they're going to look at you like you're crazy. You're not building up any rapport. So I always tell people, do the same thing with Google, do the same thing with content. If you always do what's right for them, you're going to give yourself a chance for ranking, the absolute best chance you can.